Tune. Anyway, it is not about Mariah Carey. It's not about me or my friend. It is about our first guest tonight. She is known as Miss Manifesta. She is a manifestation coach and author of Manifesting Happiness. Esther McCann, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm really great, Raf. How are you?
Honestly, it's so great to have you back. Now, let's let our audience know. You were originally booked for Lionheart's show tonight because I recommended you. I said, listen, you need this manifestation coach in your life. And look, we're back. I
think I might have secretly manifested.
Did you?
You being here, maybe.
Let's hope Lionheart gets well soon. But
yeah, Lionheart.
I had you on my show a couple of months back, and we were talking all about manifestation. Now, for those that haven't heard of you before, as I just introduced, you're a manifestation coach and you're an author of Manifesting Happiness. Tell us where it all began for you. Why manifestation, and how did you get into it all?
Oh my gosh, so big question. So it was when I was going through my divorce. I wasn't particularly spiritual. I grew up in a very Christian home, so I've always had a faith as such, but wasn't practicing anything in particular. And as I went through the divorce process, I started getting kind of the signs, the synchronicities, feeling this sort of sense of divine support around me. And then I was just on YouTube listening to meditation tracks, and you know what YouTube's like. It starts recommending.
It's all I watch.
It's a wormhole, right? And then I got introduced to law of attraction through that and the power of positive thinking. And I thought, you know what, there really is something in this, because honestly, I was a really miserable person.
Really?
Yeah, I was very, very negative and very moany, like extremely moany. And I kind of just started looking back at my life and dissecting it. And noticing these patterns and maybe the things that I'd been manifesting. And then I went on a bit of a mission to consciously manifest and change the things I was calling and attracting into my life. And here we are now. Did I think I'd be doing this professionally? No, not at all.
Can I ask what you were doing at the time prior?
Health and safety.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Health and safety, but it kind of coincides a little bit. You know, being positive, it helps you from, accidents. Surely.
Yeah, doing risk assessments on my attitude.
Wow. No, I love that. And it also it's proof that, you know what, you can change. You change your mind, you change your life, right?
Yeah, and I think if anything, I just want to encourage people and say, a lot of the time we're conditioned to being told, oh, you've reached a certain point in life and that's it. And I actually believe that with the power of positive thought and belief and, an empowered self-concept, we can make changes at any time in our life.
Beautiful. I absolutely love that. You know what? It's funny. I had a psychic on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago. Her name's Jane Wallace. And, everyone, my co-host Kim Davis was a bit skeptical. And I take life and everyone and everything with a pinch of salt. Because, you've got to. And I had Jane on the show a year ago when I first met her. And I was in a really funny place in my life. Quite a transitional period, but in quite a low one. And Jane had said to me, Raffaella, next year, so much is going to change for you. You're going to travel to Los Angeles, over and back. You're going to do red carpet stuff. And I just thought, oh my God, that's the dream. That's where I want to be. And you know what? I truly believe that, manifestation definitely had something to do with that, because obviously it's down to action as well, isn't it? And I went on and I've been over and back from the United States in Los Angeles and done the red carpet stuff. And we had her back in the other day. And what's so interesting is about with a psychic is she also said to us, you've got to manifest it. Because I said, how do you say that this person came? Because we were talking about love and how you manifest love into your life. And it was interesting that although she's a psychic, she also spoke about the power of manifestation also. So that's interesting.
I think it brings up these two slightly separate paths of manifestation being that you control and claim your destiny, whereas sometimes it kind of feels a bit like
you're told.
Fate, like this is it. But I think you get to decide. And I think sometimes you have a psychic reading And I think like for you, so you heard that probably and you're like, well, yeah, that is
what
the dream.
I want. Yeah.
But I also think it's daring and being able to say, no, and I'm going to have that, and being willing and feeling worthy to say, yeah, that is going to be my reality. Because a lot of people would kind of go, oh, well, that's lovely, but I don't think that's for me. You know, I couldn't possibly have that lifestyle or whatever. And I think there is element of free will.
Yeah.
I think there's multiple timelines exist, so we can go off and choose different realities. Like you could have made a different choice that perhaps took you away from that, but you were on that timeline. And so I would say, obviously, she's picking up what's next for you.
Interesting.
But I do also believe that, yeah, like when somebody implants like a positive thought like that, it does. Of course, it's going to make you more optimistic and hopeful about what's coming up next for you. But I think sometimes you can have a reading and you can go, nah, I'm not going to.
Not for me. I'm not going to take that on. Yeah, yeah. But it depends on your mindset also, doesn't it? Because you could be someone that would cling on to everything, and I'll be like, nah, I'm not accepting that one there. Don't believe that one. Better be about that man, not that one.
Exactly. A little bit like
definitely not like that one. I said that to her the other day, actually.
No, I'll have that, but I won't have that. Like,
brilliant. Can you explain to us the core principles of manifestation that you teach to your clients and your readers?
I think, oh gosh, there's several pillars, but I think, you know, the main pillars are setting an intention, knowing either what it is specifically that you want, or certainly the specific feelings that you want to experience, because a lot of the time we think, oh, I would be happy from this thing, and sometimes it's a little bit like, be careful what you wish for. The grass isn't always greener, or the conditions that you think are going to bring you happiness aren't always the thing. So I often say, seek the feeling and not the thing. And then one of the main principles then is learning how to surrender and let that go.
Ooh, let's talk about letting go. Because right, sorry to interrupt you. It always comes about me, doesn't it? Why do I do this? So those that have just tuned in, you're listening to The Late Show with Raffaella Coleman, sitting in for the lovely Lionheart. And I am joined by an absolute queen. Her name is Esther McCann, as also known as Miss Manifester. So she's going to teach us how to manifest. When you talk about letting it flow and surrendering, it's almost like what you resist persists, right?
100%.
Let's talk about that, because I have been chasing lately and we can't chase anymore because that's needy, right?
It's needy, and it's about changing the polarity. So when you pull back and it's when you can say, I believe this is possible for me. Perhaps I've tried every single thing. Perhaps I've, maybe it's like I've swiped on every single guy on the dating app, or I've applied for every single job, because they're the classics, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still not getting anywhere. And maybe this kind of pushing strategy and chasing strategy isn't working for me. And ultimately, we're doing that because we're saying, I'm not happy in the now, and I'm seeking something outside of me to fulfill me and to make me happy. And so much of manifesting is about the game of being and what you're vibrating as. And so it's about seeking this contentment, this fulfillment, whether it's through gratitude or just being present with something that you love. But it's being able to switch off and detach from those desires so that you can just enjoy your life right now in the present, because otherwise you're just constantly chasing a moment in time and saying, I'll only be happy when I get this. And it's all about finding your happiness in the now. But obviously, this is a process for everyone, and I still go through this. I always say this is rinse and repeat, because you'll get your manifestation and you'll be like, oh, I'm really happy. A new desire will come along and you'll be like, oh, I never knew I wanted this. And then you kind of go through the cycle again, and you have to relearn how to let go and come back to the present. It's like somebody dangled a carrot in front of your face and you're like, I never knew I needed that. And then you get all like clingy about it again.
I love that. Let go and flow almost.
It is. You do have to just kind of say sometimes, it is that. It's like putting your hands, it's the meme or whatever, Jesus, take the wheel, and you see him at the wheel. But it's like saying, I surrender and let the divine step in and take action for me and align components, because I do believe personally in a sense of divine timing, and that everything lines up as and when it's supposed to, or really as and when you let it flow, because the more you're clinging on to it, the more you're not allowing the process to unfold.
Love that. So it's also what came to me when you said that is reason, season, lifetime. So sometimes whatever comes in, so long as you're in that flow state, whether it's for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime, you will soon know.
Absolutely. And I think there's that comes into surrender as well, because attachment often is about clinging to things that sometimes have, unfortunately, or fortunately, because of where it's going, they've had their time in our lives. Not everything is permanent. And, there are different seasons, and we do expand, and not everything is, here for the lifetime, and that's okay. But sometimes clinging on to things doesn't allow us to flow to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So core principles we have so far: intention, surrender. I'm writing these down. I'm always learning, me. I hope you are too, listeners. The whole team are out there with their pen and paper, including my friend. Yeah. We love this. We love this stuff. Intention, surrender. What else have we got?
And self-concept. So self-concept is really about your sense of identity and who you are. And I think this, a lot of people talk about law of attraction, but I think law of assumption really top trumps law of attraction. So law of assumption is about the assumptions you have about yourself and the world and how things are working out for you and what's possible for you. And then you basically allow or attract, or things flow in based on what you assume is,
right,
for you.
So going around saying, I've put on weight, or I'm broke, or do you mean in that sort of term? If you kind of, it depends. Like, because somebody could be like, I've put on weight and I don't care about that. Right, got you. Sorry,
that means nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all about the energy behind that. So if somebody's like, I'm broke, but you know what, I'm good. Like, I know I'm going to be fine. If someone's saying, I'm broke and this is affecting my happiness and I don't believe that I can get out of this cycle. So it's really like listening to your own words and listening to the thoughts that you're having and the conversations you're having to see what is the belief or what's the vibration you're offering on that topic, and starting to notice, are you offering the right words, the right identity, the right belief? Because there's a whole concept in manifestation about, acting as if, like the whole fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's about, who are you being? Are you being the version of you that's got the thing that you want and showing up as that, speaking as that? That's very normal. Like, well, yeah, of course I feel beautiful because I am beautiful. It's just very like, duh kind of energy. Yeah. But when we're kind of saying, oh no, I'll only feel this when I get the thing, then you're not actually living in that version of yourself.
Yeah.
No.
So what you're saying is we it's okay for us to show up as or act as if who we want to be as such, but it's also feeling that too.
Yeah, it's connecting. Like, I think if you're feeling it, then but the feeling is the feeling is the symptom or the manifestation of the thought that you're offering. So if you're feeling it, then you're on that vibration.
Well,
and that's why people love visualization and scripting and all these manifesting techniques, because they put you in the feeling state that you've got it.
That's it. From tomorrow, I'm Jennifer Lopez. From tomorrow, nobody call me Raffaella Coleman.
Well, I'm already sitting here feeling like I've top trumped Mariah Carey, because you're like, it wasn't about Mariah. And I was like, Mariah would not be happy with that statement from the things that I've heard.
And that's true, actually. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love it. Okay, what else have we got here? Right, I know you've covered some of these, but any extras. What specific techniques or exercises do you really recommend to help people effectively manifest their desires?
So the techniques are basically, they're there to help you put you in that state of higher consciousness. But have you ever done this? You must have done this. Where
probably I'm nuts.
No, it's not wild. This is the great thing about it. When you've had a thought where you've thought, oh, I would like this, and then suddenly it just appears, or you go, I haven't heard from so-and-so in a while, and then they call, and it's as natural as that. Yeah. And there's no attachment to it, because you're not then looking at that person in your phone book or whatever. Like, it's just flowing, right? Mm-hmm. So just take those as basic principles, that you don't really need a technique. Like, you can you can manifest without the techniques. But I think especially if you're a beginner and you're trying to get to the feeling state of the thing that you want, then I totally recommend scripting, because so scripting is writing. It could be a letter to yourself. It could be writing a story as if the thing that you want has already happened. It's fantastic to like send voice notes to your friends and just pretending like you're having a conversation that the thing you wanted has come true, because as you start speaking it or as you scripting it or whatever, you start kind of getting some momentum behind it as if it's already happening. So I love doing that. I love things like 3x33 method, and it's the same thing as the 5x55 method. So again, this is a form of writing or speaking, and you set an affirmation saying, you know, thank you for the thing that I wanted. And we always speak it as if it's already happened. It's not I wish or I want, because you're from that space, you're coming at it from lack. Vision boards, everybody loves it.
Love me a vision board. I do. Just updated mine.
Have you?
I have. I used a lot of things from the last 3 years to put back on it, but it's being recycled yearly. But yeah, I love a vision board. That works
really well. I mean, I think a vision board isn't just for the new year. I think a vision board should be being updated all year round, because it should be a rolling project.
Yeah.
It's not something that you do and then you just stick it down, you know, the back of a sideboard or something, and you go, oh, I'll look at that next year, and then you moan about how you didn't get anything off it. The whole point is that you're looking at it regularly and connecting to the feelings, and also it's implanting in your subconscious that these things are important to you and normal, because you're seeing them on a daily basis. But a tip that I have for people a lot is like, put some things on your vision board that you've already got that you love, because then when you look at the board, you're also reminded from an abundant state of the ways in which you're already blessed, rather than having a board. Because some people look at the board and they're going, well, I don't have any of those things, and then they start that vicious spiral. So it's quite nice to fuse it with abundance already. So yeah, there's so many techniques out there, and new techniques are coming out all the time, because on TikTok, you know, all the young'uns, because I'm old now, they're coming up with new things all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I feel it.
You look great, can I just say?
I'm manifesting it.
No, J-Lo skin, J-Lo skin, J-Lo skin. Mind you, it's probably all airbrushed. Anyway, go on.
I'm not.
Not you, J-Lo, not you. I love an airbrushed me. I do. No, not you. You look great. Your book, Manifesting Happiness.
Yes.
Tell us about it. What can we expect when we purchase it?
The thing that I love about this, so I obviously tuned in before. I tuned in and listened to you a little bit before, and I know you were talking about The Secret. And obviously within that book series, there's also the magic. So the magic was a real game changer for me, because it's a book about implementation and actually embodying the energy of gratitude and getting you to show up on a daily basis, making the changes, because we can all read a book and go, oh yeah, I read this book, but actually embodying and implementing that knowledge is a whole different thing. Yeah. So that's what this book is all about. So I kind of wrote from my experience of people need tools and questions and prompts that get them into the energy that they want to embody. So it's a 6-month journey, effectively, getting people to start to become self-aware about who they are, what is the energy that they're putting out, and then setting intentions, getting clarity on their desires, connecting to their good feelings on a daily basis. But I've done it on all sorts of different topics. So you've got weeks that are all about money, you've got weeks that are about more about relationships, and then you've got weeks that are more about the spiritual principles. So grounding, surrender, being high vibe, you know, these kind of things. So it's great because it's getting people to look at themselves in a kind of 360 way, rather than just focusing very much, usually, on the one topic that they're attached to.
Yeah.
It's great because then obviously if they're attached particularly on money, if they start flowing on other topics, it allows them to open up a little bit more and the money department. Like, I don't like to work with people on one topic. It helps so much to get them manifesting across the board.
I love that. You have been featured in publications such as Glamour, Women's Health, UK and Stylist. You're also a manifestation coach, as I mentioned. Where, if people want to, you know, work with you, where would they need to go, and how does that sort of happen? Take us through that process. I mean, obviously they get in touch, but I mean, sorry, I lost my words there. I had 3 questions I wanted to ask you at once, and I'm watching the time because I'm coming up to the news, and I'm like, how am I going to squeeze in all of these questions?
I would just say, to be honest, because like Miss Manifester is such a mouthful, but yeah, just come and find me on Instagram. It's Miss and then Manifester, which is Manifester. That was me being...
Oh, no, I just got that, by the way, the other day. Yeah. It was fantastic. I loved what you did there. Yeah.
Built my whole business around my Instagram handle that was available. So yeah, no, just come and find me there, and people can get lots of free videos and content that helps them there. If people then want to work with me, they can. But for me, it's about putting as well out a lot of content that can help a lot of people en masse.
Amazing. You're an absolute legend. Where can people go and buy your book also?
I would love to be like everywhere. Waterstones has it. WH Smith has it online. Brilliant. Amazon has it online. But please do go and support independent bookstores as well. That would mean a great deal to me.
Thank you so much for joining me again, Esther. I cannot wait to meet you in person and have you in the studio, because it's not over now. We're friends for life.
That's it now.
You're stuck with me no matter where I go.
Can we get J-Lo and Mariah in on the same day?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm sure Mariah can do with your positive. Listen, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Raf. I appreciate you.
Take care. Bye. We'll see you soon. Bye. That was Esther McCann there, also known as Miss Manifester. Please follow her on the socials. Her book, Manifesting Happiness, is out now. She is just a joy to talk to, always full of great advice on how we can be more positive and have a happy, healthy mind. More from me after this.